Hello everyone, it's all about now. Some people wanted them because they didn't give too many details, which is also why we were so excited about the test runs. We're not talking about a test here. This is a real cyber cap. They start making it next year. And it starts to feel more and more real, and it all comes down to us FSD. If FSD penetration increases within Tesla, the story changes a lot. When you look at Cybercab and clearly the Tours Cybercab, this is something that can go on for the next 3 to 4 years, and there's no reason why this can't end up making 10 to 15% overall profits for Tesla as it all rams up, given what we think of the overall ride-sharing market and what they could gain. It all comes down to 1.5 billion miles driven and FSD. When you look at autonomous vehicles compared to cars on the road, this isn't just for Tesla. They're also going to OEM this technology for RV. If you look at some of the numbers, they could be delivering as much as $20 billion a year to Scout. I don't think this is a huge threat to Uber when it comes to Tesla's impressive growth. It's not just about observing from the event. I still think that's the 2025 story. So if you look at demand stabilizing after a strong China quarter, I think COGS is going to come down. You'll have Model 2 or 2.5 in 2025. And then if I look at the next 2 to 3 years, I think Cybercap, Optimus, and some of the parts I'd argue that the AI store is the most undervalued AI name. This is important to me because it shows autonomy. As we move from level 4 to level 5, this will change everything for Tesla. I think they'll show it on the Cybercap and the roll-up. By the end of next year, I think this will finally be possible in some places. I also think this is a new era for Tesla when you look at the price per mile, the number of miles moved. It's not enough to just walk away and shrug. I think everything will be different after this. Well, I think by the end of the year or the beginning of next year, you should have a good idea of when the cheaper car will be available and how it will be made in terms of the Cybercab and FSD as a whole. What the rollout will look like in 2025 and, most importantly, COGS. The whole point of this is for Tesla to be able to cut COGS down a lot, especially with the next platform. If that happens, I think the numbers for the next year or two are 40 to 50% lower than they should be. That's what we need to see. If we're still waiting 6 months from now and they haven't given it to us, you probably need to reevaluate things. But I don't think they have. I think they have a lot more coming than they ever have in the story. If I look back at the last few years, I think we're talking not just by the end of next year, but over the next 3 to 4 years. What could that mean for the fleet? There are 6 million cars out there, and maybe 8 or 10 over the next few years. What does that mean in the end? This is just about margins. This is really helping Tesla start a whole new business, and based on our calculations, we could see 20 to 30% gains over the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, look at what Musk did with SpaceX this past weekend. The point is that it's all a process that is repeated. If you look at Optimus, I think you will start to see robots in homes in the next few years, which is also going to be important for factories and where this is all going. It's moved from beta to what I see as more of a prototype and a multi-phased approach to making this happen. Even though I've been to events like this for 25 years, I think this one was the coolest because of all the new technology here. Did it lack specifics? That's why the costs are going down. But when I look at Optimus, I see where I think self-driving cybercabs will go in the future without being watched. FSD, both Texas and California Nico, I think you come away from that more optimistic, not less optimistic. Now it's up to them to carry out their plans, but I don't think there was anything disappointing about what I see as a historical event that we'll look back on with regret 3 or 4 years from now in terms of production. I think the full self-driving car in Texas that is not controlled California in terms of 2025 actually think the reason the stock's down was because there was no Model 2 announcement in terms of the sub-30K vehicle. The next gen, we think there will be a Model 2 and a Model 2.5, but they were never going to do it there. That's something we still believe is in 2025, but I think as we've seen many times in Vors and Tesla, they want more, and that's not necessarily their style. They are going to lack details. Then you'll get more, I think, on the earnings call, and then more as we go in the next 3 to 6 months. But is not a reason to sell the stock. I actually think the future Tesla is brighter today than it was a year ago. Bears come into the event at their keyboards, ready to just focus on the negatives being live at the event, seeing the products up close and interacting obviously with many of the consumers. We walk away from there more excited, not less. Some of the biggest innovation we've seen in 40, 50 years are happening right now between AI, space robotics, and of companies SpaceX front and center. In terms of where there's all EVs have clearly seen a lot bloom come off the rose. But our bullish thesis on Tesla, it's not just pure EV. We viewed as disruptive tech. AI, FSD, robotics. EV is the main focus. But a broader look at the world shows that we are in a digital revolution. And that's where we are, from AI to what you're seeing on crypto. That's why I think a lot of bears are trying to find the bad things in their spreadsheets or 10 for the New York City office building. When you go around the world, come away bullish, not bearish. But do you know who else shares Tesla's optimism? That would be today's sponsor, Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha has the most news about Tesla than any other site on the web. To get the most up-to-date price targets for Tesla's offerings, click the affiliate link in the summary below. If you go back 3 months, you can see that Elon Musk talks about a lot of different things. Stocks would drop below $100, he said. Finally, we're where we are now because investors are starting to see the AI shop for what it is. There aren't many AI plays that are as good as Tesla. We think AI by itself could be worth $1 trillion. The desire for and price of this name are also leveling off. We've talked about it and said it in public. I see no reason not to, because it means Tesla is putting more effort into the AI store, which is what investors want to see. So the bears are going to play today because I've never thought of Tesla as a car company. I've always thought of it as a name for a disruptive technology. That's why the stock price is going down. I think people will start to pay more attention to 1010 in a few weeks or months. I believe it sharpens the knives between the bulls and the bears. The last few weeks have seen earnings go to Beijing and others plant what I think will be some seeds that will lead to growth when you look at the bigger picture of fully autonomous driving. If you look back over the last 4 or 5 years, any of these sell-offs have been golden opportunities. Now you have to buckle up and know that you're going through a white-knuckle period. But on the other side, I think growth returns to China, and you'll see them gain more and more share. The sub-30K vehicle next year, which we call a Model 2.5, will be key to capturing share. But for now, check out the New York City cab driver Spish from Tesla. People on the street would see these business models as impossible to succeed because they are going up against non-union Tesla, non-union Rivian foreign automakers, which is why Tesla is currently having a rough time with the upcoming competition from Detroit. This is also why the UAW is a nightmare on Elm Street when it comes to what's happened in Detroit. I mean, if you look at the big picture, 1.8 million cars are expected to be delivered this year, which is a very strong number compared to the current market conditions, and Phil has also talked about this in Q4.